Great to have you with us. Please like, subscribe, and share. Now, to jump to a completely different story, Michelle Obama is finally getting what she wanted, everybody's attention. She started this abysmal podcast that has absolutely bombed. When you think about the headline name that she is, and to have a podcast that goes nowhere to the extent that hers has gone nowhere, no viewership, even though you've got A, B, and C list celebrities talking about it all the time. Nobody watches this nonsense. Well, she went on that show and did Michelle Obama absolutely admit the truth. Now, what truth are we talking about? Well, let's take a little stroll back down memory lane with one of our favorite propaganda talking heads, Joan Rivers. More of a comedian than a propaganda talking head, so I will give her that. But here we go.
Mr. Rivers, how are you? You made a ton of news officiating the wedding in New York yesterday. Is this like a new cottage career move for you?
I'm so excited.
Okay.
And I should do very well because I don't charge.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
we
president?
already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay. She does this.
Joan Rivers says the quiet part out loud, and what happens? That was July the 3rd. By September 14th, Joan Rivers is dead. Now, her daughter thinks that there are nefarious actors at play here. When talking about the death of her mother, Joan Rivers' daughter believes that the Obamas, and this is a quote from Joan Rivers' daughter believes the Obamas killed her mother because she exposed Michelle Obama as a man/transgender. Okay. Now, so this has been all the rage. Everybody's been talking, not everybody, but lots of people have talked about Big Mike. There have been whole exposés and stories done on comparing pictures of this guy, Michael Robinson, with Michelle Obama and facial recognition. And oh, by the way, where are childhood pictures of Michelle Obama? What are the kids? The fact that the kids' facial recognition, they look like two of the Obama's friends in terms of their resemblance, not to them. So there's all sorts of, I should say B-list, because the media will not push this at all. They denigrate it, they shove it down. But anyway, with all of this happening and Michelle Obama getting none of the attention that she actually wants, she craves. She is a narcissist. As much as she said she wants to be a private person, she wants the attention. She wants it. Well, she was on her podcast. I don't know if this is her podcast or if she was on a podcast with Marlon Wayans. But check out this little clip here because it has the internet buzzing right now.
I wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man.
Okay, we'll stop it right there because that's where most of the internet stops the clip, right there. Let's replay that because when you listen to it, you're like, what did she just say?
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man.
That warms my heart, particularly. Now, listen to the lack of pause in that section. I'm going to play the whole interview, something that the mainstream propaganda talking heads, the globalist media would never do. If this was Trump saying something like this, they would cut it right here. And to their ears and eyes and data, the rest of the interview would nary exist. They would bury it. They would pretend it didn't exist. They would try to get rid of it. They would try to expunge it from the internet so that the unwashed masses would never hear the rest of the interview. We won't do that. We will play the rest of the interview and we will discuss it. But before we do that, I wanted you to listen to the lack of a pause there. Listen to how it flows.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man.
Okay. Now we're going to play the whole thing. So.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Would you care to share that journey of?
Well, I learned.
So now the question becomes, as she says, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Then she stutters and stumbles a little bit and says, would you care to talk about that? So there is an absolute question. Could she have been referring to as a black man and then leading into her question to Marlon Wayans? That is absolutely a possibility. However, when you listen to the clip from start to finish, you realize that there is no pause. She says, that warms my heart as a black man. Stutter, stutter, stutter. Would you please elaborate? So I don't know. It could be the Freudian slip. It absolutely could be her. It could be Michelle Obama outing herself / himself. It could be Michelle Obama finally admitting the truth about Big Mike. Maybe it isn't, but it is. That pause to me is extremely important, the way the clip plays out. Now you've got Michelle Obama possibly mistakenly admitting it. You've got Joan Rivers saying it as a matter of fact and then dying 3 months later. So I just wanted to throw that out there because this has been all the rage on the internet today, as you can well imagine. Great to have you with us. Please like, subscribe, and share. Now, one more little clip to get to because this just broke as the show was airing, and that is the fact that we've got breaking news between the United States and Ukraine. Here we go. U.S. and Ukraine sign agreement to access natural resources. So we've got an agreement now between the U.S. and Ukraine. The minerals deal that Trump talked about over a month ago does seem to be a reality at this point. Now, I will caveat this. We were here once before where we thought we had a deal and then we didn't. However, this looks to be different. Breaking. As I said, this was like 40 minutes ago. Ukraine has agreed to President Trump's requested mineral rights deal with the U.S. as compensation for the hundreds of billions of dollars America's invested. Kiev will contribute 50% of revenue to a joint fund. The deal comes with security guarantees. Zelensky is headed to the White House for the signing. The art of the deal. This just posted. And if we look at so this is 37 minutes ago. The U.S. and Ukraine have signed the Earth Minerals deal. The deal will grant the U.S. privileged access to new investment projects to develop Ukraine's natural resources, including aluminum, graphite, oil, and natural gas. So this has been signed. They made some last minute changes, but evidently this has now been signed. And that is according to, several sources are saying that it has actually been signed. I would like to see that from an actual White House source. So we will wait till we have an actual White House source because this one says Ukraine ready to sign U.S. minerals deal as soon as Wednesday. That was 48 minutes ago. Today obviously is Wednesday. So this could still happen today. So we will keep you abreast of this, but this is absolutely huge. If we get this, if Trump can get this signed today or tomorrow morning, whenever it happens, or if it has already been signed, but the fact that we are back at the table with this Ukraine minerals deal means that we can transfer much of our need for rare earth materials from China to Ukraine and other places. It also starts to put money back into U.S. coffers that we have invested in Ukraine. But more importantly, it comes with security guarantees because now there will be U.S. personnel, U.S. capital interests, U.S. economic interests on the ground in Ukraine, which makes for a future Russian incursion a much more dangerous prospect for Putin because he would be putting Americans directly at risk. So this answers the part of the security guarantees that the Ukraine wants without having to go the route of multinational Western troops on the ground in Ukraine, which Russia will never agree to. So we've got a backdoor to security guarantees, which might free up some things and allow us some leveraging to tell Ukraine, you're going to drop this entire Crimea nonsense. You will give up the territory. And then putting the pressure on Putin, you've got what you want for the most part. No troops. You keep Donbass. You keep Crimea. Now let's get to the table and get this done. Hopefully, we can see this Ukraine deal before the summer. Let's see. I think that would be a huge feather in Trump's cap. But really appreciate everybody rolling up. Thanks so much for being here. You're the best. Thanks everybody for being here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this content, most importantly, share the Chris Highland Show with everybody that you know. Appreciate everybody being here. Remember, God is good and he is sovereign. It'll all be good in the end.